still there is a need of making a lot of efforts to reach the worldwide logistics standards and expectations, in terms of safety, in terms of transit, in terms of visibility, tracing, in terms of business intelligence. So this market needs to gain or to continue to invest to reach the level of the biggest market, like whatever it's China, Americas, Europe. But on the other hand, it's very promising because the size and the potential of this market is there, that's for sure. So once all those efforts will have been done, I'm pretty sure that India will become a prime market in this worldwide industry.
Hi everybody, this is Libin, Chacko, Kurian from Start Media Group. We are here in Mumbai for Cargo India 2024. We are with Adrien Thominet. He's the Executive Chairman for ECS Group. Adrien, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome. It's a pleasure for me to meet you too.
Thank you. When I think about ECS Group, the first thing that comes into my mind is that you are a GSSA. But I would immediately remind myself saying that you don't want to call yourself as a GSSA, but an augmented GSSA. What does that really mean? How you identify yourself?
Well, I do believe that the GSA activity is becoming too much classic. And then the point is to how can we provide to airlines added services that they cannot do by themselves? So how a GSA can bring a value to an airline rather than insourcing solution. And so the idea was really to create solutions, to create services, to create abilities, more than only doing sales, bookings, and administration. And so how we could have created added value to an airline. So that's where the concept of augmented GSA has been created by us. How can we do better than a standard services from a GSA?
Okay. The other thing that comes into my mind when I talk about ECS Group is that of the new company that you started in terms of the cargo digital factory, for example, and CargoTech. And you combined the strong points of some of the startup digital companies, for example. What motivated you to create that, for example?
Well, the idea for us was to consider that the digital anyway would take place in our industry. And the point was really to embark this transformation and then to be a little bit avant-garde as well on the transformation. So we invested massively on those new solutions, new products, new companies who are bringing solutions to the industry that were not existing. The point is not only to do e-bookings or to do business intelligence. The point is to create new services, new tools that will help to optimize the revenue of the carriers we represent.
You also mentioned your vision to bring in 6 or 7 such startup companies together to provide a streamlined, a complete platform, for example.
Absolutely. The idea is really there is no limit, to the potential and the possibilities of offering new services. For example, some of our investment, like our partners, like Wiremind are creating CMS solutions today, or some other startups are creating overbooking situation and then predictive rates and then predictive bookings, solutions that were not existing with the classic CMS or by the GSS. So the idea again is really to create something or to bring services that were not existing in this industry.
Your clients are the airlines, for example. You work for the airlines. You think from their perspective. How are they responding to some of these initiatives that you took?
Well, the ultimate expectation of an airline, first we work on behalf of the airline, and then those carriers are expecting us to bring them solutions, to bring them initiatives, to bring them innovations. So I think they are very well welcoming every initiative we are taking that will help to optimize their revenue.
Thus, you brought together in CargoTech, Rotate, for example, or Cargo AI or Wiremind. What is the real tangible results of all these coming together?
Well, first, each of them is having his own individual service, his own individual, let's say, solutions that are not going against each other, but they all together aligned and combined, they provide a full set of digital solutions. But initially, they are all having their initiatives and individual initiatives.
Okay, ECS Group is one of the biggest GSSAs in the world. You have presence in 59 countries. Can you give us an idea about the recent expansion that happened? Some of the recent announcements that came in from ECS Group is about your expansion into Africa, for example, or Central America, and then Southeast Asia, for example. All these expansions, what are the new demands that you are witnessing? What are you catering to right now?
In terms of development and acquisitions, we have kind of 2 drivers. Either we're opening in countries where we are not existing, and Africa is really definitely an area of interest for us. And this is why after Nigeria, we are now having Morocco. Then Central America as well, where it was absolutely not a place where we were existing. And there is a second driver, which is also to reinforce our position if we have an opportunity to make an acquisition of a leading GSA in one country, even if we were already having an implementation. So the strategy is both, either opening new territories or reinforcing our leadership in one country.
Can you also give me an idea about what is the kind of demand that you are seeing in the new markets you are moving into, for example, or wherever you are expanding, for example? What is the kind of, the verticals that you're contributing? Is that e-commerce or something else? How is it?
You have everything depending on the markets. For example, out of Morocco, it's purely perishable. There is no export of e-commerce. And then you're going to have out of Central America a lot of e-commerce or electronic or perishable as well. So there is a diversity, which is good. And what we like also is, the larger we have in our network, the more opportunities and the more capabilities we have to react to the market trends. It means one market can be softer 1 month, it will be compensated by another market. So this is really the purpose of extending our presence in the world here.
We are here in Air Cargo India 2024. So can you give me an idea about your perception about the Indian market? What is happening here, for example?
Well, we are absolutely astonished by the growth and the demand and the dynamism that we see in India. Well, first, congratulations for this organization, because the exhibition is absolutely outstanding. Second, we see that the participation and then the attendance is strong. The market clearly is booming in India. We are very proud. We have two companies, two organizations in India where we have a very large organization and setup here. And we see as well, because we are partner with airlines like Vistara, like Air India, like Indigo, we see how those airlines are growing. So India definitely is, according to me, the prime market and the one to come in the future.
Can you also go a bit deeper about the Indian market in terms of what are the commodities that you're moving from India, for example? Is there any change because of the increase in cargo, for example?
Well, you have any kind of commodity, of course. What is interesting in India, this is the strength of its domestic market, because you can combine both a lot of domestic and you can combine a lot of exports as well as a lot of import. This is one of the only unique markets having this kind of balance between the strength of a domestic market and the in and out traffic that you can have as well. This is the beauty of this market. And of course, the size of the country, where we have today more than 10 offices in the country, it's really promising for the business development in the air freight.
The 2023 was a difficult year for air cargo because there was an increase of capacity and there was demand decreasing, for example. Yields also, there was a bit dip, for example. So how you dealt with that period of air cargo market, and also in terms of dealing with your airline clients as well as your shippers, for example, the customers that you have?
Well, the customers and the shippers are changing their needs and their demands. Well, of course, you have the big venue of the e-commerce players who is changing everything. But I think it's really the capacity to recreate routes, to recreate logistics solutions, how we can connect the biggest market, like, of course, India with the rest of the world. India is not only a point-to-point solution for me, for example, it's a transit point now. So we can have cargo from USA, for example, into India and then connecting to Australia, or vice versa. So we can really recreate, and the logistics is totally changing and the demands are changing, which is also what is very interesting and challenging for us.
There are two interesting things that you have mentioned right now. One is India is becoming a transshipment point. Okay. The other thing is that your customers are demanding, shippers are demanding new things, for example. Can you elaborate a little bit? Give us an idea about what they are demanding. Also, in terms of transshipment point, do we have enough infrastructure to handle that?
Well, it's changing. It's not achieved yet. There are still a lot of efforts to be done. But I believe that at least we're in the right direction. And then the airlines and then the airport authorities are really understanding that India cannot remain isolated. And then this is very, very new. And this is what we hear here. That's what we can hear in this organization and this kind of event, where you see that now India becomes also an international platform. And I think that India will easily compete with the Middle East platforms, transit hubs. And of course, the size of the market is really helping, and the number of carriers and capacity will help for that. So we have not achieved yet the full transformation yet, but we are really going in this direction, which is absolutely a positive move.
As somebody who is looking from outside, what is your message for the Indian air cargo community, or the fraternity here, what they should be focusing, what challenges they should be solving, for example?
Well, I think that still there is a need of making a lot of efforts to reach the worldwide logistics standards and expectations, in terms of safety, in terms of transit, in terms of visibility, tracing, in terms of business intelligence. So this market needs to gain, or to continue to invest, to reach the level of the biggest market, like whatever it's China, Americas, Europe. But on the other hand, it's very promising because the size and the potential of this market is there, that's for sure. So once all those efforts will have been done, I'm pretty sure that India will become a prime market in this worldwide industry.
One thing that I heard from some of my speakers is that India is a low yield market, for example. Okay, do you see that changing in any sense?
Well, I will not be so much negative because it's not worse than other markets like transatlantic and so on. The yield is always a relation between the capacity and the offer and the demand, sorry. And I do believe that the demand in India will continue to grow, even if the capacity is increasing. So of course the yields, everyone is expecting the yields to be better, but I would not consider that India is worse than any other areas. And again, because of the volumes let's say you can see in this market, potentially, I would be much more positive than this statement.
Thank you so much, Adrien, for joining us today.
Thanks, Libin. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.